As of yesterday, Tailwind version 4 has been released. It's been a long time coming since version 3 was released in 2021. Since its beta release in November of last year, Tailwind CSS 4 is designed for and tested on modern browsers. There's a lot to take a look at, and I'm going to show you what's new. Since version 3, there's been a lot of iterations up until 3.4. In 2023, when I was at Tailwind Connect, there was talk of a new high-performance engine for Tailwind CSS. Adam gave us a preview, which they called Oxide, designed to simplify the developer experience and take advantage of how web platforms have changed. Under the hood, Tailwind uses Lightning CSS, which is an extremely fast CSS parser, bundler, and minifier. Now, there are a lot of guides to using Tailwind CSS, but the easiest way to get started is to use a CDN, which stands for Content Delivery Network. Here's a quick example. I have a standard HTML file, and I named it index.html. And then over here is just the normal boilerplate for an HTML file. So what I did was, I added some Tailwind classes to the body tag, I created a button, and I've also added some additional Tailwind styles to that button. And within this button, there's just some text. And I'm also using, in this instance, Visual Studio's code, and I'm running live server. If we take a look at our browser, this is what we'll see. When we add the script tag to our head section of our HTML file, we can then start using Tailwind CSS. I also want to note here, this is best recommended for development purposes, and it's really not intended for production. So if we refresh our browser, we see that the Tailwind styles that I've applied to this button. Now, if you've been following this channel and you are a subscriber, you've also seen that I provided other videos on how to install Tailwind 3.4. In the future, I will provide additional examples for version 4. So now I'm going to take a look at some of the recommended approaches of installing Tailwind CSS version 4 with the Laravel Framework. Before we continue, if you find the content useful, please subscribe and support the channel. Be sure to leave your thoughts, comments, and click the notification bell so that you can be informed when we release future content. Okay, let's start the process by opening up our terminal. Now you may have noticed that my directory says herd. And what herd is, it's a PHP development environment that kind of saves you some of the headaches of getting that set up. And basically it has all the features that you need to get up and running with Laravel for free. And if you do want to know how that's done, just take a look at some of the videos on the channel and you'll be able to find that as well. Okay, for now, I'm just going to use the terminal. I'm going to type in Laravel new. I'm just going to type in T4. So in order to get to my project, I'm going to change the directory and I'm going to go to T4. If I do a quick list, I'm now inside this project. So I'm going to open up PHP Storm and take a look at this project. So here we are in our fresh Laravel installation. I'm just going to go to the package.json file. And as we can see, we're currently running version 3.413 as of this installation. And the version of Laravel that is currently being installed as of this video is found in our composer.json file, and it's 11.39. And then quickly in our browser, we can see that everything is running as normal. So we just hit the URL t.4.test. And what I want to do is I want to upgrade to the latest version of Tailwind CSS. And while I'm here in the package.json file, I'm going to add another script command here, and this one's going to be watch. And this will allow Vite to watch your files as you make changes. So back to the terminal, and the command is npm install -d tailwind at latest. If we go back to our project, we'll see that we're now on the latest version of Tailwind 4. However, if we run npm run dev or npm run build, I just have these aliases once again, so yours would be npm run build, dev, or watch. But for now, I'm just going to run npm run build, and you'll notice that we get some errors. So what this is basically saying is that we're going to have to run another dependency, and we're going to have to update PostCSS configuration because the package PostCSS plugin has been moved to a separate package. So let's go back to our editor. And the file in question here is this PostCSS config.js. So what we need to do is remove these two. And then we need to install the package. And then I'm going to type in npm install -d to the dev dependencies. I'm going to type in tailwind css/postcss. And now that that package is installed, I'm going to go to the post.css.config.js file, and I'm going to add the dedicated plugin package. Now I'm going to go back to my terminal and run npm run build once more, and then you'll see that it's building, and that works. If we go back to our project and we do a refresh, we can see that a lot of things are not working out as expected, even though it is being built here and there's no errors. So something's up. So let's go back to our package.json file. So while I'm here, I'm just going to remove auto prefixer. I'm going to remove PostCSS. I'm going to also update Vite to the latest version, and then I'm going to do a quick build. npm run build. npm install -d, and I want to get Vite at the latest version. And we see here, as of this recording, we're at 6.0.11. If we go back to our browser, refresh, things are still broken. And that's expected because we're not quite done yet. So what's really happening here is if we go to our resources and we take a look at the CSS directory and we go to app.css, we see these at directives, and these at directives are for the old version of Tailwind. So Tailwind 4 would like you to import Tailwind CSS, and this replaces those 3 at directives. Let's head back to our terminal and do another build. So we'll clear this and we'll build again. Then we'll head to our browser and we'll refresh. And we can see that everything is running as expected. We are running version 4 of Tailwind, and it's loading correctly, and it is building with no errors, and our project is looking like how we expect it to. Now, I also want to point something out. If we were to go to our vite.config.js file, we'll notice that within the Laravel project, Laravel imports this Laravel Vite plugin. And in this case, the default configurations for this plugin, we use this input, which is the app.css and the app.js file, and we'll make sure that this refreshes on every build. Now, in the Tailwind documentation for version 4, it says we can remove this, and then the import's no longer needed, and then we need to, according to the documentation, that it recommends migrating from post-CSS and using the @Tailwind Vite plugin for improved performance and the best developer experience. So I recommend just leaving the Laravel Vite plugin and just using it the way it is for now. Now that's a lot, and what I didn't tell you is there's an actual easier way to do this. So what happens if we remove the Tailwind config.js file? Let's just say we delete this, and then we try to rebuild our project again. Still works. Refresh the browser. All right, so let's just jump back to our editor, and in the new version of Tailwind 4, it seems that we don't actually need that tailwind.config.js file. And before I really get into why that is, I've kind of taken you down this path to upgrading Tailwind version 4 in a Laravel project, as of this video, version 11.39, and this is the manual way to do that. So Tailwind does provide an upgrade tool, and for the most part, on all new projects, this is probably the best way to go. So with that, let's just jump back to where I first created this project. So what we're going to do is use the Tailwind upgrade tool to do the heavy lifting. So the command is npx, and it's going to be @Tailwind CSS upgrade @next. So the Tailwind upgrade tool requires a prerequisite, and that is a version of Node 20 or higher. I'm also going to git initialize this repository. Okay, so basically I'm just saying I want to use git to track these files. And this is ideal because if you had an existing project, you'd want to run the upgrade on a new branch. So if you're not familiar with git, this might seem a little foreign, but what I've done is I've created a new branch that I'm going to apply the update to that I can roll back if this doesn't work out. And in the upgrade guide, they also use npx. So when should you really use npx? Well, I would say I would use this when I have a one-off package to install. And if we go back to our package.json file, we'll see that we're at version 4 of Tailwind. Now let's jump back to the browser. This was when I deleted the project. I'm going to do a quick refresh, and we can see that it's back to normal. So I also had the time to try this out with JetStream, and it loads our Laravel project. And as you can see, both projects are side by side, and I'm checking the package.json file on the JetStream version of this project. Now, if I was to cd into this project and run the npx tailwind upgrade command, you would see that we get the same results, and the difference here is I didn't do a git init this time around. I will even update auto-prefixer Laravel Vite plugin and post CSS to its latest versions. Now, if I jump back into my project, you will see that the updates were applied. If I check the resources.app.css folder, you will see that these plugins are also applied here. We have some @source directives pointing to the JetStream blade files and pagination views. We have an @layer directive with some utility styles, and we have our default xcloak. And what's changed here is inside of the post.css.config, we're now using the @Tailwind CSS post config package. Vite is still using the Laravel Vite plugin. And if we take a look at the Tailwind upgrade guide, you'll see the manual process, which we did cover. And you'll also see that some of these utilities have been deprecated and there is a replacement. So if you do have these in your project, you'll have to replace them with the recommendation. And also some of the names of the utilities have been renamed. So in version 3, this is the list here on the left, and over here in version 4, this is their replacement. So you do have to pay attention to that when you do upgrade your projects if you're not creating a new project. Now, this video is actually longer than I wanted, but I wanted to go over everything, and I didn't cover every single change in this video because there is a lot, as there is a lot of information around Tailwind, including the components, which we didn't even cover, and templates. So please let me know once again if that's something that you guys are interested in. And that's it for this one, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. I hope you found that useful. Please leave me your thoughts and comments. Do check out the description below for additional resources. And if you're looking for additional content, I highly recommend that you watch the next upcoming video.